Himself being a former police chief, Lacson was also asked about the appointment of General Nicolas Torre III as PNP chief. The Duterte camp had criticized Torre for only being a two-star general. But Lacson says he himself only had 2 stars when he became chief of police.
Ako, tumalon din ako nun eh. 2-star ako nun eh.
Okay.
So okay lang
Kasi
tumalon.
ang batas ganito, yung PNP law, pwede mag-appoint yung Pangulo.
Yeah.
Mag-bid selection hanggang full kernel. He deserves to be appointed. Hindi ko siya kilala. Narinig ko lang doon sa kanyang dating boss na talagang yung sabi niya, yung official na yan, very firm yan. Pag inutusan mo yan, talagang mission-oriented, i-accomplish na yung mission.
Speaking of the new PNP chief, well, he is our first guest tonight, so let's bring him in. Welcome to the big story, General Nicolas Torre III. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am. Magandang gabi po sa inyo at sa inyong mga tagapakinig. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Narinig niyo po ba yung soundbite that we ran just before you of Senator Ping Lacson saying you are very firm daw and very mission-oriented? Did you want to react to that?
Yes, I thank General Lacson for the recognition, and he is one of the upperclassmen and PNP leaders that we all look up to. Thank you very much.
Sir, let's take a step back and talk about your appointment. When exactly did you get the call from President Marcos that you were being appointed the new PNP chief?
Well, I got it, I think it's, a few hours before. No, basically, when it was announced, it was almost simultaneous. Before, when we were told, I was told that I was appointed, E.S. Bersamil is already about to start the press conference and announce my appointment also.
It was the same day. So same day that you...
Yeah.
It was the same day that it was announced to the media.
Yeah, when it was announced to the media, I was informed around 30 minutes earlier.
Okay.
Ganun.
Sir, hindi mo lang kayo binigyan ng chance to decide on it, to think about it, whether you want it. Did you want the job?
Obviously, wala namang police na it's everybody's dream, you know. So many people are dreaming of it, and if you get it, and I'm very, very much thankful, humbled by the trust and confidence of the President.
So, General, hindi totoo yung mga ibang tao no, sinasabi na alam mo na raw beforehand na ikaw yung magiging Chief PNP.
Ang nakakaalam nun yung ating mga supporters, yung mga nagmamanok sa atin, yung mga bata-bata natin, ikaw na nga sir, alam na namin. Pero ang totoo niyan, wala naman talaga official announcement. So everybody's receiving information like that. All the contenders most probably are receiving information like that. Pero it's all about Russian roulette na kung sino tatamaan, di sa kanya mapunta.
Of course, you are still early in the job. You've just been in position 5 days now. But I'm wondering, how's it going for you? Are you facing any resistance? Kasi, on the surface of it, parang you're a bit of an outsider, no, sir? Because for one thing, you didn't come from the PMA, the Philippine Military Academy, and also you're from Davao. So are you facing any resistance at this point in time?
As of the moment, fortunately, wala naman ako nararamdaman ganyan. Everybody's doing the line, everybody's delivering, at meron na tayong maipagmayabang na mga 3 instances na 3 minuto, nare-resolba ang mga kaso. And one of those things is already reported by the mainstream media, yung paghabol ng motor na kinarnap doon sa Caloocan.
Okay, pero at this point, since binring up nyo na rin yung pagkakarnap, no, tumataas kasi ngayon yung mga cases ng mga petty theft. Nabalitaan naman natin, General, na maraming ang nakikidnap, na hold up rather. Lalo na sa CBD, ng Makati, ng BGC, and supposedly, wala daw tumutulong na police. Can you shed some light kung anong ginagawa ng PNP para, maayos naman yung ating imahe? Because as it is, yung travel advisories ng mga South Korea at ng US, fina-flag na po ang Pilipinas bilang isang dangerous spot or for their citizens to be more aware.
As you said it a while ago, I'm 5 days on the job, pero may mga nakikita ng mga pagbabago. Nawawala na ang mga pulis, wala na ang mga pulis sa mga presinto at na yung mga areas na hindi sila nakikita. So They are already accessible. They're already on the streets doing the patrolling with the police visibility. So I do hope na mag-i-impact ito ng positively sa ating mga kababayan. At as of the moment, as we speak right now, mayroong isang kaibigan ako napunta sa Tambo Parañaque Police Station. Diyan sa Tambo Precinct at nagsasabi, sir, nung una kong punta ko rito, sabi, pupunta na ako ng barangay. So sabi ko, bumalik ka dyan, kausapin ko ang police. Kinausap ko ang police. So sa ngayon, ganyan, pag sabi ko, pag hindi nyo na-solve yan, papuntahin ko sa CIDG yan at pag na-solve yan, may problema kayong lahat dahil you're refusing to do your job. So, sa ngayon, yan muna ang ating ginagawa before we impose sanctions at we hope na yung mga ganyang nakikita natin na nagsabing dumadami at tumataas ang kriminalidad like the petty theft. Kaya nga ang aking sinasabi sa ating mga pulis dyan na damihan yung huli kasi kung dumadami dapat ang huli rin natin para matigil ang mga yan. There's only one way to stop that wave. That is to take out the criminals from our community, and we take them out by arresting them.
Can you explain that? Kasi medyo naging controversial, General, yung that word, no, paramihan ng arrests. Sabi ng Commission on Human Rights, pagka naglagay po tayo ng quota, baka daw bumalik tayo dun sa dating siste, di ba, na nagkakaroon ng quota, paramihan, and it's not a good metric. Can you explain what you mean sa paramihan ng arrests?
Well, sinasabi niyo, dumadami ang krimen. So, ibig sabihin, dapat tumataas din ang aresto para ma-solve yan. Because how can we stop these crimes if we don't increase our arrest? At paramihan ng quota, hindi naman ibig sabihin na paramihan ng quota, you take out even the innocent persons from our community. Ang purpose natin is to keep our community safe, and the only way to do that is to remove the criminals. Ngayon, ito naman, may mga nagsasabi na sila ay may nangangamba baka naman maging abusado ang pulis. Tandaan po natin, itong mga ang directive ko is aresto. Walang papatayin dyan, walang gagawa ng incriminatory machination. So, ang sinasabi natin, arestuhin pag may tamang basihan. Ngayon, pag sila ay gumawa, ang pulis halimbawa ay nagdala ng ebidensya, nagplanting ng ebidensya, ay hindi ho yan ang arestong hinahanap natin. Kasi ang ginagawa nila ay crime in itself, which is planting of evidence. And we have zero tolerance for it. We will never, ever tolerate that. So, rest assured, ang ating mga kababayan, pag ikaw ay naaresto at illegal ang pagka-aresto, andyan naman ang PAW. They can always get the services of a lawyer. Nandyan si Attorney Persida Acosta na matutulong sa kanila. And they can bring the case to the NAPOLCOM. We have a very, very strict and very, very straightforward and no-nonsense Vice Chairman and Executive Officer in the person of Attorney Ralph Calinisan. So, that guy is very, very tough on wrongdoings within the police force. So they can rest assured na pag sila ay ginawan ng mali ng police, especially maling aresto, may pupuntahan sila na pwede sila magreklamo and can seek redress of these wrongdoings.
May napag-usapan ba kayo, sorry Reg, may napag-usapan ba kayo ni Attorney Calinisan ng NAPOLCOM no, kung paano nyo paiigtingin itong sistema to hold erring police officers accountable?
Yes, we have already talked. Dati naman kasi kasama ko yan sa Attorney Ralph Calinisan sa Pleb Quezon City, and no nonsense yan na Pleb Chairman, and now that he's promoted to a national body like the NAPOLCOM, ay dala-dala niya ang fervor na yon, ang talagang alab ng damdamin na para mapabuti ang ating kapulisan. So he will be very, very strict. And we expect him to do that because we will be very, very thankful sa kanyang tulong na maalis ang mga skalawag sa ating hanay. And we have talked, I think 2 days ago sa conferment ng PESE doon sa kanilang office. And just this afternoon, I also talked to him again regarding some matters na mutual interest namin, which is to really make sure that policemen to the line and at the same time, how to reward these policemen, especially those who are performing, yung mga nakaka-aresto talaga, talagang nakikita mong nahuhuli ng kriminal, pumupunta sa piskal, nagtataas ng kamay at nagbibigay ng ebidensya, at pumupunta sa judge, nagbibigay at nagtitestimonya ng ebidensya on how to reward such policemen. Kasi truth to tell, ang pinakapahirap talagang trabaho ng pulis ay humarap sa piskal at huwes, magtaas ng kamay at magbigay ng ebidensya, magtestimonya. Kasi ang totoo niyan, ang kalaban nila dyan ay isang abogado rin na magdidepensa doon sa ating akusado. Sapagkat isa basic na karapatan yan, the right to counsel. And mabuti kung ang abogado na yan, patulog-tulog. Kung mga magagaling na mga abogado, gaya ng mga abogado ng PAW, ng mga bata na talagang maalab din ang damdamin at depensahan din ang kanilang mga kliyente, talagang bakbakan sa korte yan. At ang ating mga pulis talagang masusubukan kung talagang magaling sila. At alam nyo, ang mga drug cases, ang mga witness natin dyan na pulis, pag na-dismiss ang kaso, 60 days ang suspension nila. Kaya hindi basta-basta yan na trabaho ang pagtitestimonya. Kaya talagang yan, i-reward din namin. Napag-usapan namin ni Attorney Calinisan kanina.
General, it's also not just about the numbers, no? Not just about the number of suspects that you're able to capture. Kasi, for instance, may mga high-profile kidnapping cases in recent months. Case in point, yung kidnap na estudyante from British School, Manila, and then also the kidnap and subsequent murder of Anson K, yung Filipino-Chinese businessman. Rightly or wrongly, nakakadagdag po siya sa general sentiment that crime is once again on the rise, and it is something that the administration's enemies, for instance, are using as a narrative against this administration. So I guess the question there is, ano po yung plano natin for especially for the high-profile crimes and in particular kidnapping?
We would like to, it's very unfortunate and we condole with the victims of these two heinous crimes. We condole especially and offer our condolences to the family of Anson K. Pero we are proud to say na parehong solved ang case na yan at may mga nakafile na case na dyan. In the case of, especially of Anson K, we have 3 suspects there. One is a Chinese multimillionaire businessman ang nakakulong dyan. So, hindi natin, at nahuli na rin yung babaeng ransom negotiator, nahuli natin ang kanyang cellphone na may laman na $1.7 million. So, ganun ho kalaki ang mga involved na mga tao dyan at hindi natin sinasanto ang mga kriminal na yan.
Speaking of high-profile case, what about yung other big high-profile case involving former spokesman Harry Roque, sir? I don't know if nakita niyo na po yung memes online, the ones showing you capturing Apollo Kibuloy and then, you know, arresting former President Duterte, and then now meron naman meme of you arresting si former spokesman Harry Roque. How close are we? Na-file na po ba yung papers with Interpol?
Well, what we are doing right now is really concentrate on, we are looking for drug traffickers, we are looking for human traffickers, and these big criminal syndicates. Lahat sila, we are treating them equally. Nagkataon lang na si Harry Roque ay isa sa mga human traffickers in accordance to the warrant of arrest issued by the court here in the Philippines. Well, pare-pareho lang naman ang aming tingin sa mga yan. Pero in his case, the government had already requested for the cancellation of his passport so that he will not be able to travel from country to country. And it's just a matter of time before the Interpol issues a red notice for him to be captured like Arnie Tevez by other international police forces in the country where he is in through the international cooperation platform, which is the Interpol. And it's just a matter of time before he's brought back here in the Philippines.
Na-file na ba yung papers, General? Do you know? Because 2 weeks ago, when we spoke to DOJ Undersecretary Nicholas T., hindi pa po na-file at that point in time. But do you know if you have made the formal request to Interpol?
Better siguro na surpresahin na lang namin siya pag lumabas na at kaharap niya na ang pulis na huhuli sa kanya.
So hindi niyo na muna sasabihin, sir, okay?
Secret. Okay, fair enough. Baling na lang muna tayo sa version ninyo ng drug war, no? Narinig na natin, no, from your predecessor, si General Marbil, na yun nga, medyo iba yung tono niya. Under you, General Torre, ano po yung may expect natin, no, sa pagsugpo ng droga, which mas mataas, no, yung nakulimbat ninyo in terms of value of drugs compared to the previous administration. Are you going to continue it? And in what form? How will it look like on the ground?
Well, pero hindi ako mag-get over doon sa word na nakulimbat. Hindi naman kinulimbat ng pulis yun. Kinumpis ka ng pulis at inilagay sa evidence room natin. Hindi natin kinukulimbat yun. No? Ang direksyon ng ating drug war ngayon, ng ating drug operations ngayon, ay pagpapatuloy lamang sa sinimulan ni General Marbil. My predecessor, General Marbil, has been very, very efficient in running the anti-drug operations na talagang nagko-concentrate both sa top level at saka sa ground level din. At saka ngayon, itutuloy natin yon, especially so may mga big confiscations na tayo lately. So itutuloy natin yon, and also of course intervene on the street level pushers, street level users, at saka yung mga street level mga those people that are involved in street level operations in the distribution of drugs. So sa amin lang, we are making sure that everything is done within the ambit of the law. Pag nag-conduct tayo ng mga buy-bust natin, we are very, very strict in monitoring the pre-operational clearance. We're very, very strict in making sure that we are using body camera or alternative recording devices when we do especially when we do the inventory.
Will your focus be more on the street level or yung big time? Or pagsasabayin ninyo?
Sabay dapat yan. May mga nagtatrabaho ang ating DEG, yung Drug Enforcement Group natin, are focusing on the supply reduction. We are constricting the supply. We are interdicting the supply to make sure na ang mga droga na pumapasok sa bansa natin ay mapigilan or mabawasan or makumpiska ang mga nakapasok na. Pagkatapos yung mga na-distribute na sa street level, andyan naman ang ating mga frontline police stations. May mga SDU, Station Drug Enforcement Units, ang ating mga police stations, na nag-specialize sa pagtugis nito mga street level pushers and users.
From what you can see, General, why is it so hard to cut off the supply? Kasi matagal na pong problema yan. And alam naman natin from which countries galing yung supply ng droga. Bakit po hindi
It's big money. Ang drug problem is big money. Talagang ang kanilang mga systems ay nagiging sophisticated as time goes by. Kaya nga pati kahit nasa first world country naman di ba? Hindi naman nawawala talagang droga sapagkat may mga demand talaga yan dahil ang mga addict may mga demand. Kaya kung may bibili, may magbebenta. Pero ang sa atin dito, what we are trying to say is that hindi tayo tumitigil sa pagsa-stop nung supply at hindi rin tayo nag-i-stop sa pagpigil ng demand. We are trying to rehabilitate those drug users na sa tingin nila ay pwede pa silang ma-rehabilitate ang sarili nila. They voluntarily surrender themselves to rehabilitation centers. And sa side naman ng police, we help them avail of those services. Now, for the big-time dealers naman na talagang nakikinabang at ginawa ng hanap buhay ang pagbebenta ng droga, the police and other law enforcement agencies are also working hand in hand, including with the international community and other agencies, para masugpo sila at matigil ang production and trafficking, especially the transportation and distribution of these illegal drugs.
Can we also expect, General Torre, that you will continue the reorg that was started by General Marbil within the PNP? Ipagpapatuloy nyo ba yun or ipapag-igtingin nyo pa?
Oo, that's one of the last things we spoke to General Marbil about when he came to our set. Sabi niya, he's trying to do a restructuring and also trying to get rid of scalawags. Na-mention niya rin po yung scalawags din. Ano po yung plano for that?
Well, the bill was vetoed by the president, so it was returned to the Congress for further study. So we're going to take that opportunity to also infuse other changes as dictated by the operational environment. Nagbago na rin kasi ang mga pangailangan natin with the recent developments. So we deem it necessary. We found an opportunity to actually inject those reorganizational changes that we believe will be more responsive to our current needs. So ibabalik namin yun sa Presidente uli. Ang aming comments, ipapasok namin sa Kongreso, ibigay namin sa mga sponsoring congressmen at pagkatapos hopefully ma-integrate nila in accordance to our recommendations at ma-sign finally into a law.
Okay. And then last question, just very quickly, General. Si Senator Amy Marcos po, of course, she held a hearing on the arrest of former President Duterte. Afterwards, she said she saw cover-up of irregularities. There are a lot of glaring violations now. Those were her words. And she might look into filing cases. Does this worry you?
She did file a case in the ombudsman, ano? So, well, we are not worrying about it, no? We're not losing sleep about it because we do believe that everything that that we did on that operation are all above board, legal, within the ambit of the law, moral, and most especially, we believe that we did it legally. We did it correctly. So, she may have other opinions. She may have a differing opinion, but she's welcome to. We welcome her move to file it in the ombudsman so that we'll have a chance to rebut it in writing, informally, and in a proper forum. So hindi gaanong problema yun. We really don't worry about it.
Given a chance to do it again, may babaguhin po kayo?
Maybe I should have smiled more for the camera.
That is a good point. Okay, on that note, we will end the interview there. Thank you so much for your time tonight and for joining us on The Big Story, PNP Chief General Nicolas Torre III.